First Watch with Sheriff Mark Daniels on KWCD Bisbee Sierra Vista, hosted by Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
And welcome to your Friday. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
So let's talk about sports as we typically do right out of the chute. And you've got girls soccer coming up.
Girls varsity home inaugural soccer meet today. They're going to be playing a team out of Phoenix at 4:30 today at Keith Hampton Field, which is one there behind Lowe's. But this is their first home ever ALA game here. So at 4:30, they're taking on a team from Phoenix. They're actually ALA girls. This is their second game. They won their first game against Casa Grande 2-0. So it's going to be a little chilly out there, no doubt about it. It's cold here today. But again, these girls are excited. They're ready to go today. So come on out if you want to see some high school soccer today at 4:30.
And so you were pretty busy all week. It started with the Western State Sheriff's Association Conference in Reno, and they had so many things going on. So just tell us a little bit about how that started. It's 4 associations that were there. You were actually inducted as the incoming president for the Western State Sheriff's Association. Congratulations. We posted that you got an award on our Facebook page, so that's out there. So tell us a little bit about what all of these days encompass.
So what Western State Sheriffs, first of all, it encompasses sheriffs west of the Mississippi. And it's not completely inclusive of all sheriffs. There are a couple that are not involved, but it represents over 1,200 sheriffs west of the Mississippi. So, yeah, I got it. I don't want to say inducted is not the word, but elected to the, because what happens is you get into a system, and then you grow within the leadership chain from there. But either way, I took over Wednesday night as the new president for Western State Sheriffs, which to me is a true honor. I go back to Sheriff Deaver, who was involved in this. This was his bread and butter, all the way up to the national sheriffs, and we gave a video with Larry in there, and Nancy and the boys did a little video. Thanks you for putting that together, Grady. And I thought it was a great tribute to Sheriff Deaver, Sheriff Judge, Sheriff Pintek, and just the Cochise County Sheriff's Office. But to have the ability to be elected by your colleagues throughout the West, and then be able to help lead them on sheriff issues, which are all about the homeland, all about public lands, border security, drugs, the office of sheriff, protecting that, be able to help lead that for the next year. So, yeah, I'm very blessed, very humbled, and well received. It was a great event. But the conference, I went out there Saturday. It's been a long week. Got home at 1 o'clock this morning. So if my voice sounds a little draggy, that's probably why. But just a long trip home. We were supposed to be home about 9 o'clock last night, and thanks to the once friendly skies, we were delayed, and then, yeah, long story there. But either way, got home about 1 o'clock this morning. But looking back at the conference, I mean, that's where I get my hours too. In Arizona, a lot of people don't understand. Sheriffs, when you're elected, if you've never been a cop before, you automatically carry that certification or that authority. Let me put it that way. I also carry my peace officer certification. I keep that active too, which I think is a great thing to do. Gives you two thoughts. And so I have to have so many hours a year and proficiency in education hours. So I got those at the conference, and the committees that the classes that we had, everything from national security to even retirement. I went to a retirement training course. I walked in, nobody had hair. I knew I was in the right course, but it was just really good training, from supervisor liability and just on and on. So it was just really good. But I want to talk, if I could, in reference to our keynote speaker on Monday, and that is, a lot of people remember him, the Phoenix police officer, Jason Shirtelli. I know I'm saying that right. But Jason was the officer that was been on the job, I want to say 6 months, a year at the most, when he was going to a call, sitting at a light in Phoenix, and a taxi cab driver hit him at 115 miles an hour. And hit Jason's car, the police officer's car, caught on fire. And he talks about it in the way that, and if you can see the pictures, and they showed all this, and here's a guy that pretty much burned his face off. But this guy is an inspirational speaker, because right where the intersection he was hit was the fire truck that was going to the same call he was, 52 feet away, as he calls it, got out, and they helped bring him out of the burning car. He was still on fire, and he talked about he was 8 minutes into an ER room, And then he talks about what he went through with that. So talk about mental therapy. Just an inspiration to listen to this guy about the importance of life. And I mean, it was 2 hours I listened to him speak on leadership. And so next time you think you have something in your life going on, listen, this guy, I mean, this guy's been through heck and back. Let me just put it that way. And so thank you, Jason. I mean, just where he's at today and where he was. And his passion, he went back to Phoenix Police because he was blind when he came out of the coma after 3 or 4 months, and then he got his sight back. But just all his trials and tribulations. But for him to get back up and go back to try to be a police officer again, I mean, it was just incredible. Couldn't do it just based on his physical impairments. And now he's set to retire, and he goes around and speaks to law enforcement. Kind of keep us on our toes, I'll tell you. So when we complain, and cops do that well, to include myself, at the end of the day, we don't have complaints. I'll just say that. And
some of the things that you talked about, obviously you had border meetings.
We did.
Talked about the state of the border and some of the things that are going on. And Tom Holman linked in and gave a presentation, talked to everybody who was there.
Yeah, he did. And the border security meetings, and we have a thing called the America Sheriff's Alliance, and that is major county sheriffs, national sheriffs, western states, and southwest border, where we all come together throughout the year and talk about different positions we want to take, different thoughts. We don't always agree. I mean, different perspectives, different communities. But we had a meeting Monday afternoon, and we come up with a position paper. You'll be seeing that coming out very, very soon. Tom Holman did a virtual link into us, very interactive with the sheriffs, and sheriffs got to ask questions about all the speculation and rumors out there on what's going on. And I will reemphasize what he said, and I'll highlight what he said. Simply put is, the worst of the worst is what they're looking for. Those that pose the greatest threat to our communities. He talked a lot about that, from terrorists to designated gang members and those that aggravated deportees, people, like I said, that are on the radar screen. And then he talked about, again, and I've heard him say this when he's here before, was the children that are unaccounted for. Almost 300,000 kids, plus or minus, that are missing, that they don't have no idea where they're at, is to locate those kids and make sure they're okay. And that's pretty much, I'm paraphrasing, but it's pretty much exact words on that. And so, and then they got to ask him questions, about the 287G, which, and you probably hear about that. That's the detainer program, ICE program, that when local sheriffs go through the training, and then we can detain them. And when I say detain them, in our jails. And let me just disclaim that we don't have an issue here because we have federal partners all around us. We have Border Patrol, we have ICE. I mean, they're all everywhere. Plus, we have the Border Ops Center, which houses a lot of our federal partners. But if you're in Navajo County where you don't have that, that's a great program. So we talked about that, and just the engagement, the partnerships there with the federal government, the administration. So overall, it was a very, very good meeting. I met another individual that's an appointee under this administration that came down and spent a lot of time with him. I had him address the border meeting. The Tucson sector chief was there. He spoke. Sean McGoffin, just a great guy for Border Patrol. He spoke. Haida spoke about the drug trends right now and going back to this fentanyl and stuff. So, again, it's an educational conference. It's a training conference, but it's really a network conference, too.
And speaking of fentanyl, DEA had a huge bust in Phoenix yesterday, 700,000 fentanyl pills that they found that was secured or hidden inside some roofing shingles. So that was just a great job in that investigation and getting that find.
It is. And sadly, and this is what I've been told, 90% of all the fentanyl in this country is not being touched by law enforcement. It goes right to the consumer, which is children, families, communities, and that should be alarming. I mean, one pill, one kill. We all have heard that slogan now. But and it's a pandemic in this country. When you look at what's coming across the country, 700,000 pills. I mean, that's a lot of pills. Kudos to DEA. I mean, seriously, kudos to the law enforcement, whoever was involved in that. And look at it. They're hiding it in tiles, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But they're going to keep doing it because that's a moneymaker for them. The addiction that drives, number one. Then number two is the death. They don't care about America. They don't care about these kids in our country that touch that pill. So, yeah, America needs to come together on this. And the old DARE program, we have to have the war on drugs. We have to get back into this.
Well, today later we're going to release the history of the Cochise County Sheriff's Office video, and it starts with Cochise. pre-1881. And then Behan, who was the sheriff during the OK Corral.
First sheriff.
Yeah,
Cochise
first
County.
sheriff. And then it comes all the way up to you through Larry Deaver. So kind of give us a little bit about what you talked about in the video.
Well, I talked about is a little bit about my career and how I've learned from so many people. I mean, I've worked for 3 sheriffs. Sheriff Judd hired me in the 80s. Then you had Sheriff Pintek come in there in the early 90s. And then Sheriff Deaver, who I worked with through, I think he was a sergeant when I first started back in the 80s, and then worked all his way up to commander. It was major then. Remember, he did the major and then commander, and then became the sheriff here for 16 years, just shy of 16 years. And that's really who my mentor was when it comes to who Larry was. I talk about that in the video, and I know Nancy, his wife, and Brad and Brendan both spoke in that video about their dad. It's really heartfelt, and Grady did an amazing job, and we played that on the inauguration night when I got sworn in that night, and then they had a big event. It was built around the Tombstone theme and Arizona theme, and Carol, thank you so much for all you did on that. And Carol put a bunch of raffle baskets together, and one of the sheriffs sent me a thing. Everybody was so pleased with the work you all two did, and then the committee that helped you guys up there in Reno. But we played that video there, and it was quiet in the room. And I mean, there's hundreds of people in this event Wednesday night, and watching that video and watching Larry Deaver's family speak. And then I spoke afterwards, and just counting my blessings, counting the people that allowed me to get here. This didn't happen with just me. It happened with people helping me walk. Let's just put it that way. And so it was a great night. And again, it was nice to get home. It always is. I feel like I'm 8 weeks behind now after being gone, but it was fun, and we got to recognize Cochise County not on a local level but on a national level again.
And some of the things that are going to go on, continuing that, Tombstone Wild West Days tomorrow, this weekend. So they have their parade tomorrow.
Yeah, the parade, and the folks in Tombstone, they love the excitement, don't they? They love drawing people in there, and that's tomorrow. And come out for the parade. I think it's at 10 o'clock or 11.
It's actually, if you're going to be in it, you have to be there at 10, but it starts at 11.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. And I won't be there tomorrow. Due to the fact is I'm going to be at a car show in Benson for the Benson Car Show, and I'm one of the judges there. I got to be there by 9:30, I think it is. But otherwise, I would be in that parade tomorrow. But we'll have our team there. We'll have somebody there from the sheriff's office representing the brand.
Do we ever talk about Men Who Cook? Didn't you win an award?
Yes, we did, because we were gone last week. We didn't have a show last Friday. Everybody was everywhere, so we didn't have a show last Friday. But Men Who Cook, which is put on by the Symphony here, it's a fundraiser, and just 200 to 300 people attend that event, and then you got like 20 celebrity chefs from all over. And we as chefs, it's friendly competition. Let's put it that way. It's friendly competition. So and they have the awards based on what you're cooking, like a salad, appetizer, entree. We did a dessert, and we did chocolate chip cookies. And let me tell you, this year, where we were cooking at, we had problems with the oven getting started. Then it was cooking right. We were down to the wire, and I had to get there for the health inspection. And it was a rough year this year trying to get all this going. And then we had chocolate chip cookies, homemade, and milk. How do you go wrong? So as a result of that, there's also, which is really the big award, is we got third place for presentation in our category, and then we got People's Choice Award, which means we won the most money. People can buy and put money in your jar if they like what your product is, and so we got that. That was I've never won that part of it, so that was cool. That was really good because all the funds go to help the symphony. So, but yeah, just a great night. Thanks for Men Who Cook and the committee, Amanda and all them over there for putting this together. And we'll be back in next year to have some fun, do a little poking, and take it from there.
And so one of the things that you were also busy with before you went to Reno was employee meetings. And every employee within the sheriff's office attended one of these mandatory meetings, and it was just a way for everyone to share information. It was like a State of the Union for Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
And it was. And this is my opportunity to hear the employees, hear what their concerns are, kind of judge, are we on the right track? I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, I'm the sheriff, and I manage and lead and set the culture of the sheriff's office. But I also work as an elected official. I work for them, too. But I want to hear what they have to say. and the overall energy, the overall positive, and just the embracement in the room tells me we're doing something right. And so I'm their advocate. I'm the one that they rely on to protect them, to make sure their quality of life is taken care of, the resources are provided, and they're kept safe when they're at work, whether it's in our jail, which is such a hot topic right now, to include, are they going to get their cost of living? Are they going to be able to pay? Nobody within the sheriff's department is getting rich. Let me just say that. And so I always dispel that myth. Everybody thinks we're making so much money. First of all, cops don't make a lot of money. Now, you can go up in the valleys, and I would encourage people to take a look. Go to law enforcement jobs in the country for sheriffs, police officers, deputy sheriffs, and look at their starting salaries. You can go to Mesa, Tempe right now for $75,000 starting off. Phoenix is right there, plus get a $7,500 sign-on bonus. The money is out there if you want to do it, but you got to leave Cochise County. So I have the biggest task of, I think it's a great place to live. It's a special community, to recruit them and retain them right here. And so we've done very well with that. And when it comes to keeping our homegrown talent in-house, but that gets harder every year. And I've always said that when I do my budget, I have to prioritize what's most important. My personnel have always been number one. My budget is about 82% personnel when it comes to budget, 8% fleet, and then 10% operations. That's it. It's very simple. Everybody thinks we have all these complicated. No, go look at it. It's a public record. I ask you to take a look at my budget and tell me how we can do it better if that's the case. And that's how grants are so supplemental to our needs and our causes and our innovative programs.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks, Carol. And thank you guys both for all the help you're doing.
Thank you.
Care.
Go take a nap. I think you need a nap.
I do need a nap. It's I had like 4 hours sleep, and I jumped up early on this. Thank you, guys.
Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Tammy Jo Wilkins. She's the director of CCOM.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and welcome back again, Ms. Tammy Jo Wilkins from CCOM. You're the director. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what CCOM is, because, again, like Grady was saying, people hear the acronym and they're not really quite sure what it is. So give us a little bit of overview.
CCOM, Southeastern Arizona Communications Center, is our regional 911 center for Cochise County. We currently take 911 calls for the entire county, 6,000 square miles, except for Douglas and Benson area at this time.
And so that being said, people say, well, you're a dispatch center, but you're so much more than a dispatch center. You do so many other functions. Tell us a little bit of what your calls look like for last year.
So last year we took a total of 195,723 calls in the system. 50,479 were 911 calls, and then the 145,244 balance was calls that came in on our administration lines, our non-emergency lines. We take calls for everything for from 911 emergencies for medical, fire, and police, to calls requesting information from local records departments. So we're the primary hub for a lot of Cochise County, and then we'll take the calls. For example, if Wilcox has a caller looking for records, we'll take the call for Wilcox and then we'll transfer it to Wilcox. We're the regional 911 call center for Cochise County. So we answer for Wilcox, we answer for Bisbee, we answer for all of the non-designated areas like Elfrida, Sunsites, Portal, Tombstone. We answer all of those calls.
And so that's just Cochise County. And so there's some other people that are interested in retaining your services. So what is that going to look like?
So this summer, our radio system is upgrading to a statewide interoperability with a grant that Cochise County Sheriff has obtained. This means that if the sheriff's up in Flagstaff and needs to get a hold of us on the radio, he can do so. So with that being said, there is a couple of counties in discussion with us to see what it would look like to join CCOM in the future because of that interoperability.
And so that you have to build out your capacity. You've already started doing that. And what that means is you've added consoles. So how many consoles do you have in CCOM right now?
Currently, we are at 10 paid 911 positions. And what that means is the state 911 office has a grant and it funds those 911 positions. So we have 10 fully functional consoles where I can actually have 10 people on at one time to take 911 calls and work radio traffic.
That's a lot of people at one time. And
It is.
At some point during some of our more like hairier situations and having all the people call in, it's needed so that you can have that. That being said, let's jump over just a little bit. You may have heard about the human resources aspect of it. People have maybe heard a little bit about what's going on. So can you just tell us what that is, clarify where we're going with that, and so that it eases some of the confusion?
Yes, so thank you for asking that. CCOM is a partnership with multiple subscribers across the county. Some of those subscribers are considered principal partners, and those principal partners are Cochise County and City of Sierra Vista. In the past, City of Sierra Vista was doing our human resource services, and with the needs of CCOM, there was some very high demands of the City of Sierra Vista, and they didn't have enough staff to help us. So the JPA, the Joint Powers Authority, who govern CCOM, came up with an agreement, and we rewrote our IGA to have Cochise County provide the human resources services again, because they did so in the past. And the transition occurred where City of Sierra Vista gave the human resources duties back to Cochise County, which is a larger department, and it's working out well. So January 1st, that transition occurred, and we do have a few employees that stayed City of Sierra Vista employees, and the rest of them and all of the new hires will transition and be Cochise County employees.
And that just is for continuity. So they're able to get the hiring done. They're able to do whatever they need to do, operating under the same premise. And so that's basically all it is. It's
Yes.
making sure that you have a continuity of operations. You have everybody being on the same sheet of music, if you will.
Yes, absolutely. And it's actually a lot easier.
Right. And so you have April is Telecommunicators Week coming up.
Yes, April 13th through 19th is Telecommunications Appreciation Week, and we've got quite a few surprises up our sleeves for our wonderful staff.
Good. Everybody's going to look forward to that, and then we'll make sure that we share everything that you blast out on your Facebook page. So if anybody's looking for, a challenging, dynamic place to work, you are in a hiring process, if you will, and that is you're going through applications. Tell us a little bit about how many people applied in January.
So with the transition, Cochise County posted our job on January 1st, and by the end of January, I actually had them pull it because we had over 72 applicants. And the hiring process now includes you apply for a position, we review those applications, and then we'll send you a test link from Criticall where you test for this position. You can do so in the privacy of your own home via a laptop or a desktop, not on your cell phone because it won't work. And if you pass that test, then you go on to the next step. The next step is an actual sit-in with CCOM and a first interview, which we ask about 5 questions of applicants, and then we let them know if they move forward to an oral board. If they pass the oral board, then they go right into background, psych exam, hearing test, drug testing, and then they'll get a hire date. And it's actually happening quite quickly.
Well, let's talk about the CCOM non-emergency number. That's something we want everybody to know and love and put in their phone.
Yes, actually a lot of our community knows that one because that's the bulk of our calls, but it's 520-803-3550.
And this may seem like a simple question, but when would you use that instead of 911?
Well, for non-emergencies. If you have a life-threatening emergency, please dial 911. Not only does that give us your location on the computers that when you call in on, like on our Vesta mapping systems and such, but that helps us keep track of you. You get to us quicker than you do if you dial the non-emergency number.
Well, Tammy Jo, we thank you for coming and talking to us today, and everything that you do at CCOM. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the support, and I appreciate being here.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Adam Curtis, the City of Sierra Vista.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
Giving you an inside look to your sheriff's office. Let's go back to First Watch on KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler. With me is Carol Kappas and our next guest.
Welcome back again, Cochise County. And thank you, Adam Curtis, the City of Sierra Vista Communications Manager, for being here.
Of course. It's always great to be here.
So you're going to be here to tell everybody what's going on with the Sierra Vista Spring lineup.
That's right. We've got a lot of exciting events coming up for our spring season, and it all gets started next weekend. So next weekend, El Tour de Zona comes to town. That's an event we host in partnership with Perimeter Cycling. They're the folks that do El Tour de Tucson, which is a pretty famous bicycling event. So this is not a bicycling race. It's more of a bicycling ride tour. But folks do want to plan to see a lot of cyclists on the road Friday, March 21st through Sunday, March 23rd. But aside from that, we have a lot of free entertainment in Veterans Memorial Park. So what we call that event is Zona in the Park, and starting Thursday from 1 to 8 p.m. and Friday also from 1 to 8 p.m. There's live music in the park. There's also some beer garden, some food, some games. So definitely, come to Veterans Memorial Park Thursday, Friday, and Saturday next weekend. Again, Thursday and Friday, that's 1 to 8 p.m. Saturday, it's 5 to 8 p.m. There's several different bands playing. On Thursday, it starts with Corey Spector from 1 to 5. He's from Tucson. Then Sunset Red, which is a classic rock country band from Tucson, from 5 to 8 p.m. on Thursday. On Friday, it's Working Man's Band from 1 to 5. That's country and rock music. And then Rock Us, which is a really fun Sierra Vista local band, from 5 to 8 p.m. on Friday, March 21st. And it all finishes up on Saturday, March 22nd with Hit Rewind, a Tucson-based party band from 5 to 8 p.m. Again, Veterans Memorial Park. Thursday through Saturday for Zona in the Park.
And that's not just for the cyclists. You want all of the community to show up.
Absolutely. So it's free and open to the public. It is also entertainment for the cyclists and a festival for the cyclists. But we want the public to be out there too, and kind of show some hospitality to the cyclists and also just have a good time. So definitely check it out. It's always fun to go to a free concert in the park, and plus the beer garden, the games, the food and all that kind of stuff. So please check out Zona in the Park next weekend. But while we have about 500 so cyclists in town, do be aware that the roads are going to be full of cyclists at some points over that weekend. So on Friday morning, March 21st, they're going to head out from Veterans Memorial Park at 9 a.m. and do a loop through town. They'll often be on multi-use paths and smaller streets, but they do cross Highway 90 and Highway 92 a couple times. So just be aware that if you're out and about on Friday morning next week, there might be quite a few cyclists at a few intersections, so just be patient. On Saturday, that's March 22nd, they'll be heading to Bisbee and back and doing a clockwise route this year. So taking Highway 90 out to Bisbee and Highway 92 back, and then heading up along Hereford Road as well. So again, just be aware that there's no real bicycle paths or lanes on those highways, so give the bicyclists plenty of space, and we can't close the highways down for the whole day. So definitely, if you're heading back and forth between Bisbee and Sierra Vista on Saturday, March 22nd, be aware of that. Then on Sunday, there's actually a full closure of Charleston Road, which we do every year for this event. Charleston Road is a windy, narrow road, and closing it makes the most sense for safety. It also makes for a really fun ride for the participants. So that's just a little 36-mile ride to Tombstone and back. Again, they start at 9 a.m. that day. The closure of Charleston Road will be from 8 a.m. to about 4 p.m. So on Sunday, March 23rd, if you're planning to travel to Tombstone, town, you will have to find another route than Charleston Road. So again, Charleston Road closed from about 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Next Sunday. And again, please come out to Zona in the Park, support this awesome event. 500 cyclists plus their families. It brings a lot of economic activity to not just Sierra Vista, but our county. They also hang out in Bisbee and Tombstone while they're here. And they come from all over the place. So it's a really great opportunity to showcase our community and what makes it an awesome place to ride and just enjoy the great outdoors.
And these people are coming from all over the country, but even all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't checked with them this year, but it's kind of surprising the number of countries and states they have represented. Cyclists that are hobbyists invest a lot of money and time in their hobby, and they really love to see new areas and communities and stuff like that. So it's a really great opportunity to showcase our area.
So what other events do you have coming up on the horizon?
So the next biggest one is West Fest. So that's kind of the rebranded West End Fair. Folks remember that. When we completed the Fry Boulevard Streetscape project, we kind of shifted things up a little bit and launched West Fest. And that is a lot like, a typical street fair. We closed down the street, Fry Boulevard, between Garden Avenue and North Avenue. That'll be between noon and 6 p.m. on Saturday, April 12th. The closure will start a lot earlier that morning and extend a little later, but the event itself, noon to 6 p.m., Saturday, April 12th, again, street fair along Fry Boulevard. We have a lot of West End businesses that participate, local arts and crafts, food, there'll be a beer garden, live music, and fun for all ages, so definitely bring the kids out as well. There'll be a DJ. Also, there'll be a chalk art, and I believe there'll be actually a chalk art contest this year as well. So keep an eye out for that. And admission is free, so just find a parking space in the area and come on down and walk along the street in Fry Boulevard. I always love that event too. I love street fairs that actually close down kind of a main street and kind of change the atmosphere in a place. So we always love hosting that one. And that dovetails with the project we're working on. We just, I think, finished the bidding process or in the final stages for the Garden Avenue Streetscape project. So that streetscape that you see along Fry with the trees and the landscaping and the wider sidewalks and bicycle paths and stuff, that will extend up Garden Avenue. So heading, by the Tombstone Brewery, clear to the end where Soldier Creek and Landwehr Plaza are located. So we've been waiting on that project for quite a while. We're hoping to get some big grant funds to get it done. Unfortunately, we weren't successful in the grant applications, but we were able to budget for that project and get it moving this year. I'm not exactly sure when construction will start, but we'll be sharing news about that soon, and it'll be happening this spring, summertime. And it'll be awesome to see that streetscape extend up that area. Businesses like Tombstone Brewery, the updated Best Western Plus, they've all been aware of this project and our vision for the West End, and it's part of the reason, they invested in that area. And we've seen a lot of progress in the West End in recent years, thanks in part to changing the environment, but plus a lot of other stuff we're doing with like a West Sierra Vista partnership program where we provide matching grant funds to businesses and some other projects in that area. So I'll also give a plug to our Vistas newsletter, which features a cover story on that project and the other fun stuff going on in the West End to try to improve that part of town, reduce vacancy rates, and get some businesses moving in that are more entertainment geared and kind of facilitate that downtown environment. So definitely check out our Vistas newsletter. It's available on sierravistaz.gov, and you probably received it in your mailbox if you live in Sierra Vista. It was mailed out recently, just this last week. And it features all these fun events, including the next ones I'm going to be talking about. So also in April, the following weekend, 1 week after West Fest, is the Easter Extravaganza. And we host that in Veterans Memorial Park. That'll be from 9 to 11 a.m. So hop on down to Veterans Memorial Park for a great time. Obviously, it's egg hunts for kids. There's different age groups and brackets, so check out our Facebook page or the calendar at sierravistaz.gov for details. The Easter Bunny will make an appearance as well, so be sure to bring your camera for a photo. And again, the fun all starts at 9 a.m. I'd recommend getting there on time because the egg hunts all start shortly after 9 a.m. and depending on the age brackets, you don't want to miss your chance. So definitely check that out on Saturday, April 19th. And then heading into May, two of our biggest events happen on Saturday, May 24th. That is Memorial Day's weekend. They are the Sky Island Summit Challenge and the Wine, Beer, and Spirits Festival. The Summit Challenge is a really fun event if you're up for an adventure and want an excuse to get in shape. I was planning on doing it this year, but life happened and my back got tweaked and I have other stuff going on, so I'm not sure if I'm making it, unfortunately. But I've always wanted to do it. I've done the hike informally myself. It's just a beautiful area to explore. But you basically choose your own adventure by picking 1, 2, or 3 peaks. So those are hikes ranging from about 11 miles to almost 20, around like 19 miles. I'd recommend the 1 peak one if it's your first time. The elevation change is, thousands of feet. It's quite a hike. But we start off in Ramsey. You go up to at least Carr Peak, possibly 2 other peaks, and then head down Miller Canyon. It's a really, really cool, fun event. You can find out more information at sierravistaz.gov/summit, or if you go to active.com and just search for Sky Island Summit Challenge, that's where the registration page is. So again, just search for Sky Island Summit Challenge on active.com and sign up for that event. It's a great excuse to kick yourself into gear if you're kind of late on your New Year's resolution and want to do something fun this May. It's a really cool event. And we partner that event with our Wine, Beer, and Spirits Festival, which happens that same day, Saturday, May 24th, noon to 7 p.m. in Veterans Memorial Park. Tickets in advance are on eventbrite.com. That's Bright, like BRITE.com, so eventbrite.com. Search for the Wine, Beer, and Spirits Festival. And that's just a way to save you a little bit of money. You can absolutely get tickets at the gate. Admission's technically free, but these are tasting tickets, so whether you want wine, craft beer, or spirits, you can get your tasting tickets and a collectible glass as well that comes with that. And you can save about $5 if you do that ahead of time. So check out that information. Also, you can always check out on our website, sierravistaz.gov, or our Facebook page, City of Sierra Vista. But if you want a direct conduit to those tickets, it's at eventbrite.com, and just search for 8th Annual Sierra Vista Wine, Beer, and Spirits Festival.
You always have so much information. I love it. And you guys got a lot of events coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And these aren't even all of them, of course. So check out that Vistas publication for a complete rundown of all our spring events. Our library and, our special event folks put on a lot of fun programs and events all year round. So do check out that stuff. And also check out our website, sierravistaz.gov, and the calendar link to check out, everything we have going on all the time.
And you did throw out a bunch of websites and Facebook, but let's go over that one more time before you leave. Give us all the ways to find this information.
Yeah, so sierravistaz.gov, sierravistaz.gov. That's our main website. And that we have a community calendar on there. And I should actually mention, if you click on the calendar, there's actually a hyperlink that says submit a community event. If it meets our criteria, it will then appear on the calendar. Generally, it has to be something beyond just a purely for-profit enterprise. So something that has a nonprofit component or something like that would work well. So again, sierravistaz.gov is a great place to start. The City of Sierra Vista Facebook page, out of all our Facebook pages, is kind of the biggest hub and includes all these major events. You can also find our Parks, Recreation, Special Events page, our Library and Cultural Activities page, and the Sierra Vista Police, Fire, and EMS page. There's a Tip-A-Cop actually this Saturday at 143 Street Tacos. It's a new venue for Tip-A-Cop, so check out the Sierra Vista Police, Fire, and EMS page for information on that this Saturday, actually. It's a great way to support the Special Olympics of Arizona, and it's a new venue for our Tip-A-Cop event hosted by the Sierra Vista Police Department. So that wraps up most of our social channels. You can also find us on Instagram and X. But yeah, if you had to go to one place, City of Sierra Vista on Facebook or the sierravistaz.gov website are your best bets.
Well, Adam Curtis, we thank you for coming and talking to us today and catching us up on all the events in Sierra Vista.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
So reach out to Cochise County. Let me tell you, it's not as easy as sierravistaz.gov, but .com. So Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels is going to be our Facebook page. It has our link to our X account and our Instagram. Give us a call, 520-432-9500 if you need anything, or our webpage at cochise.az.gov/sheriff.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. Keep up to date. Follow the Cochise County Sheriff's Office on Facebook. And tune in next Friday, 7 a.m. for First Watch right here on KWCD. In 1940, when SSVEC flipped a switch to start the first ever electric